Hey folks, Garrett here. We're doing things a little bit different in this week's episode of the Most Awesome Founder podcast. Today we're introducing not one founder, but many. As you may have heard, on May 17th, we're launching the first cohort of the inaugural WHU Startup Accelerator. This intensive, 7-week, mentor-driven and equity-free program provides the best and brightest startups from the WHU community with rocket fuel for their new ventures, all culminating in a July 2nd demo day event where they will pitch their ventures to investors. So for the next 2 episodes of our podcast, we'll be introducing you to the 8 inspiring teams selected to participate in this year's accelerator. The founders behind their ventures, the problems they're solving, their purpose for being, and the paths they have chosen to get to market as effectively and efficiently as possible. This week, you'll meet the founders of Lidrotec, a laser cutting technology that enables semiconductor producers to reduce material waste by 90 to 100%. Specter Automation, an artificial intelligence software that helps construction companies integrate digital planning data on the construction site. KitchX, a digital kitchen configuration studio that supports customers from design to installation. And Bringwing, a shipping subscription service that is changing the way consumers order from retailers online. Each of these teams are led by incredible founders with unique backgrounds, all driven by profound desires to improve people's lives. And for those of you that are regular listeners of our podcast, you know that there are few things more inspiring than the stories of mission-driven entrepreneurs. Hope you enjoy this unique episode of the Most Awesome Founder podcast.
This episode is brought to you by WHU, the Otto Beisheim School of Management. WHU is reshaping the way students learn about business, management, finance, and entrepreneurship through its innovative programs and partnerships in Germany and across the globe. To learn more about this globally ranked university, visit whu.edu today.
Coming to you from WHU on the banks of the Rhine River in beautiful Vallendar, Germany. This is the best and most awesome founder podcast. A show about entrepreneurs, innovators, advisors, and educators, and the stories that make them who they are today.
So I'm Alex. I'm one of the co-founders of Lidrotec. I studied physics at the Ruhr University of Bochum and also in Madrid. And for my PhD, I changed from physics to the mechanical engineering department, but during my research, I pretty much stayed also in physics. So, and currently I'm responsible for the research part and also for the technical sales. And together with my other 2 co-founders, technical co-founders, Jannis Köhler and Jan Hoppius, we're making the engineering. They both studied at Ruhr University as well. That's where we met. That's what we're going to tell later, how we met. And then Alex, my friend, came on board. So you want to present yourself?
Yeah, I'm the second Alex. I'm the business Alex, and I'm completing the four-person team of Lidrotec. I'm also from Bochum, such as the other Alex, and I studied during my bachelor's and master's at WHU with a focus on finance and economics, where I also had the chance to go on exchange semesters in Italy and Spain. And after my graduation, I worked for 5 years in asset management companies in London, Munich, and Frankfurt, and then joined the team in October 2019.
Awesome. Really cool. Great to see you guys all. I think everyone will be interested in knowing, a little bit more about what it is you're doing. So maybe you could tell us about Lidrotec, what problem it is you're solving, and kind of what it is exactly that you guys do.
So what we exactly do is bringing the best cutting quality to sensible high-tech materials, high-tech applications, especially in the micro range. So everything right now is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And usually things are not made just small, but they come out of big pieces, however. And when you make them smaller and smaller and everything gets more delicate, you have to, when you cut these pieces out, each part by each part before you assemble them, they need to have a very high quality. And there's a strong demand for quality because in some processes you have still a lot of material waste during the manufacturing of little parts which are all around us. So let me name, for example, one very prominent example is the semiconductor industry. So you have the microchips, and I think everybody got right now that there's a big microchip shortage worldwide. And so in the beginning, when you produce these microchips, you do it also on pizza-sized plates, which are very, very thin, but there are thousands of chips. And first, you manufacture the chips on these, they called wafers, these plates, and then you have to single them out. So cut them out one by one, basically, and this is done by dicing saws even. So very, very delicate saws, but they put, for example, a lot of mechanical pressure on the material, and then it tends to break. And during these processes, you still have a loss of up to 10%. So that's quite a lot before they even go into the assembly and then get worked out into some processor or some sensor or wherever you can buy them then. So, and our process is a very high quality cutting process with lasers and liquids. So it's the laser hydro technologies, our technology that solves this problem. And our benefit is that we reduce the material waste by more than 90%. So, and the benefit for the customer is that he has no material waste. It's also a safety issue, and that he saves process costs in the end. So, because already before you have a lot of processing involved, and then afterwards, so if it breaks, that really makes a lot of damage economically.
And what does this process look like for a potential client, say a semiconductor company? When you talk about that reduction in waste, what does that look like from a financial perspective for a client?
Yeah, financially, it saves it. I mean, it just saves pure money. Once, as Alex already mentioned, in the material cost. So if you imagine that a company has a 10% waste, so you imagine one of those pizza-sized plates that Alex just spoke about, and you just cut off 10% of this plate. This is the waste that currently occurs. And if you keep in mind that all the production costs of the microchips have already gone into that, because one of the last steps is the cutting, so the dicing, it basically just saves material costs in a significant way. And if you can reduce the material waste from, let's say, 10% to almost zero, you can imagine the financial, the cost savings there. And on top of that, which is probably even greater, is the saving in processing costs, because afterwards you don't have to check which microchips are damaged. So you save a lot of time in processing costs there too.
Gotcha. And just to be clear for listeners, you guys are a hardware manufacturer, a software manufacturer, a combination of two?
Well, basically, we're a hardware manufacturer. So what we're doing is we have this process, but we build a machine, an entire machine that gives the benefit to the customers. So the customer in the end, he buys this machine from us. But of course, there's a lot of software involved today. So everything is connected to software. The hardware is connected to software. But of course, when you do this new development in hardware, first you have to get the hardware right. And then in the end, the software gets bigger and bigger. But the software needs the connections to the hardware and the right connection interconnects that you can have a good software on the hardware.
Gotcha. So you guys are a diverse team, right? You've got some business WHU representation in there. You've got some physics on the tech side from Bochum. How did you as a group come together to be a team?
Yeah, it's been a very long time. So I met Jan and Janis, the other two co-founders here in Bochum, when I joined this chair in mechanical engineering. So because I came here from physics and they have been already at the chair as student workers. And yeah, we found each other very sympathetic, and started coffee breaks together. And we fast found out that we like to have our own company, because we're kind of independent thinkers, and it was like a dream of us. So also before, during the coffee break, we were always brainstorming what we could do. We also did a little excursion into CNC machining, for example, with wood. So it was very interesting. And at one point, we came together and came to the conclusion through all the research, because in the beginning, you don't think that you can do anything with your research. You're like so down deep there, you think, no, nobody cares about this stuff. And at one point we thought, like, well, maybe there is something, because I came back from a workshop, we discussed it, and we thought, well, maybe there's some benefit, some little benefit to this technique. And then we started developing it, and saw, like, in the first trying to test the first hypothesis and the first experiments, we saw, oh, it works good. Maybe not even only good, but great. So, and from then it rolled on that we found that we said, okay, we're going to apply for some project funding. And that's how Alex came then to our group.
So where did you pop into the picture, business Alex?
I mean, I know Alex for probably 20 years now. So since we were not even teens yet, because we went to school together in Bochum, and over all these decades, I have to say, we managed to keep in touch and meet regularly. So Alex approached me with this project, and obviously I offered help to look into the finances. And when it was clear that we're gonna found a company, I said I'm going to join. I quit my job in Frankfurt, and I joined Lidrotec.
If you're ever interested, and this is for business, Alex, but one of my early episodes on the podcast is with a dear old friend named Patrick Fogel, and he's a business guy, and he connected with some university friends that were all engineers, and they built an autonomous vehicle that they then sold to TomTom and are now all incredibly wealthy. And he said the smartest thing that he ever did, he said he's not nearly as smart as his coworkers, but the smartest thing he ever did was find a bunch of engineers that needed some business sense. So
well, I can only copy that. I cannot imagine a smarter group of people that I'm working with. So on that topic, I'm copying Mr. Fogel.
Nice.
I don't know if we're smart, but it's especially the knowledge that we have. And it's also, I think, for a business guy, it's very hard to dive into that, because you lose a lot of control over everything you do, right? Because we're the engineers, we know what we're doing. I mean, we don't know what nature does and what the process give us in the end, but we know what we're doing. But he doesn't even know what we're doing, and he has to. So we have this vision that we make, like, based on some assumptions. So we're going to do in this direction, but nobody has ever done that, and you cannot control anything. It's like, okay, I have to believe you guys, whatever you say.
You know, there's I always say there's two roles in a startup. There's people that build shit, and there's people that sell shit. And usually the people that build shit don't know how to sell shit, and the people that sell shit don't know how to build shit. So that's why you guys are a great match for each other. Only have a couple more minutes. I want to ask you a couple quick questions, which is, you know, you've gotten some government funding, or you've gotten some funding, and you've obviously made some progress. You've been working on this for a while. Why did you guys decide to take the accelerator route, and why the WHU Accelerator?
We're in the high-tech business, and our goal is to be a global company and to have clients all over the world. I mean, if we are progressing down the route of semiconductors, then there is no other way than to be global. And we're just four, so it's clear we need help, no matter how smart we are and how good we are in the laser business. We're not going to sell in the laser business. We're going to sell in an industry that we don't know so much about. And in a previous accelerator program, we realized that one way to get great help is through mentors. And when I first read the email of the WHU Accelerator, it said that we could meet up to 80 mentors, 80. So it was clear that this is going to be a tremendous value for us. And on top of that, I know that WHU is very well connected in the entrepreneurial scene and also in the financing and VC scene. So timing-wise, it's also perfect with regards to the financing, because by mid-year, we're going to be right in the process to find some new financing for next year. And these two things together, I mean, it was an easy sell to the colleagues then when I first mentioned the WHU Accelerator, and we're all looking forward to it.
Well, we are looking forward to having you guys. You're an incredible addition to the cohort. The level of diversity, I think, is what makes these kind of programs special. Just to wrap things up, if people want to learn more about you guys and Lidrotec, where can they find you out in the interwebs?
Obviously on our website, www.lidrotec.com, and also follow us on LinkedIn. Just type in Lidrotec and you'll find us. And I guess if you're interested in 101, then you can always write us an email, info@lidrotec.com.
Awesome. And I promise you guys, by May 14th and the beginning of the accelerator, I will remember to pronounce it Lidrotec and not Lidrotec.
It's just easier in English to say Lidrotec, but in German we actually say Lidrotec, so both work fine.
Okay. Alex, it's wonderful to have you. Thank you guys for joining us today. Cannot wait to kick things off 1 month from today. So thank you. See you soon.
Thank you very much.
Gareth.
See you soon.
Hi everyone, I'm Niklas. I'm 25 years old and originally from Hamburg. So after school, I moved to Fallenda to study business administration at the WHU. And now I'm currently finishing my master's degree at the university in St. Gallen. And during my bachelor studies, I met Oliver and Emmanuel, and we became very close friends.
Hey guys, my name is Oliver, 24-year-old business student from Aachen. And not only did I study together with Niklas at WHU, but actually we're roommates right now for our master studies in St. Gallen, where we both specialize in entrepreneurship.
Hey everyone, my name is Emmanuel. I'm from Munich, 24 years old. I've did the bachelor in Fallenda as well, and I'm now finishing my master in finance at Bocconi University, specializing on quantitative finance and trying to improve my coding skills as well.
Awesome. Guys, maybe one of you could share a little bit about the name of your company, the kind of core problem you're solving, and what it is actually that you guys are working on and what it's going to do.
So we are Specter Automation. And let's just briefly start with the problem. So we tackle the construction industry, or more specifically, digitization in the construction industry, which is actually a fundamental problem there. So it is the second worst digitized sector throughout the world. And 96% of the existing data is actually currently unused. And it's getting even worse. So in Germany, it is a 140 billion euro market. And 80% of the construction projects are over budget, and 60% of the projects are actually over time. And we identified a key reason for this. So you could say there's kind of a virtual black line, basically, that prevents the data exchange between the upfront planning information and the executing activities on the physical construction site due to complexity issues. And there is extensive data available, and that is precisely where we step in. So at Specter Automation, we enable the construction firms to utilize this existing digital planning data on the construction site to track the construction progress and to feed this newly generated and tracked data back into future planning processes to make them more precise. So in essence, what we are doing is to provide the relevant people, so basically the on-site management, with the relevant information at the relevant time, and thereby make construction more transparent, efficient, and coordinated. And this is just the beginning, basically. So as you can imagine, with this abundance of data, there's tremendous potential for AI. And there are additional features such as the automated workflow management that lay the fundament to apply this data for principles such as lean construction in the near future. And what we ultimately aspire to become is the leading ecosystem for digital construction tools.
That is incredible and ambitious, and I love the energy that came with that too, Nicholas. I can tell you're excited about this. Guys, you said you all studied at WHU. How did you guys come together to form Specter? What brought you guys together on this journey and this venture?
Basically, Oliver, Nicholas, and I, as you said, we met each other at WHU, and given the entrepreneurship spirit at WHU, we early started to flirt with the idea to start our own company. And then basically last summer, we all decided to skip out on the Corona internship and decided just to lock ourselves up together in a shared flat and basically work on ideation and ideally also implementation. And during this process, we came up with like 70 different ideas, made different business plans and things, but actually none of them was really Specter Automation. So during this time, actually Oliver met an old elementary school friend of him, Max, who is a very talented engineer. And he taught us about this prototype he developed in teleoperation. And we thought, okay, maybe we can make a business out of this. And we started to work together with Max. And one industry we found that is very interesting for that is actually the construction industry. However, when we then started to talk to people and actually validate our ideas, we found that in the construction industry, everything is still completely analog and they're extremely far behind on terms of digitalization. So we actually decided to pivot a lot and basically focus on the problems these firms actually have and try to solve these problems. And this is also the time when we got Moritz, our final co-founder, on board, who's also a very talented engineer. And together now as a team, we have the business side covered very well with our knowledge from WHU and our masters, and we have the tech side as well covered very well by our two engineers. And together, I think we are perfectly equipped to digitalize the construction industry.
Awesome. I love that story. I've heard so many similar stories from WHU of like a couple guys like locking themselves in their apartment and going through business models. And then some engineer shows up and throws a wrench in the system and helps you find the solution. But, it's just a classic example of it. You need diversity of thinking, diversity of skill sets, and bring that together and the magic happens. Guys, there's so many different ways to build a business, so many different approaches. Why did you guys choose acceleration, and maybe more specifically, why the WHU Accelerator?
Yeah, so why acceleration? Well, in November last year, we acquired several practice partners who aid us with their long-standing expertise in the construction industry, but who also gave us access to quite sensible data we use for our product development. Right now, we are preparing the completion of Specter 2.0, our refined prototype, and we are ready to deploy this prototype on the physical construction site and are currently preparing pilot projects starting in summer. So following this period, the focus will, of course, heavily be on making this product available to basically the whole construction industry. So scaling as quickly as possible. And I think the WHU Accelerator program is just the right thing for this. Why the WHU Accelerator specifically? Well, it offers a kind of unique opportunity to benefit from the presumably best startup ecosystem in Germany without giving up any equity. And during the 6-week program, we will probably be able to advance our startup exponentially by having access to mentors, discussing and refining the pitch, getting resources, and of course, also pitching to a number of investors on demo day.
Awesome. Guys, I can't wait to see how Specter unfolds in these next few months. It must be such an exciting time for you. I remember all too well when you're like just making those tweaks, getting that market ready kind of first product out there. This is the magic time that you'll look back on the most fondly. Just to wrap things up, people that are interested in Specter, do they have to wait? Is there any way they can learn anything about what you guys are doing? Where can people find you?
Until now, we were basically working more or less in stealth mode, since for us as a B2B SaaS company, the external presentation is of less relevance. But with the start of the Accelerator program, we're going to launch our website at specter-automation.com. And we also set up our company page on LinkedIn. So stay tuned.
Awesome. Guys, can't wait to see you. We're less than a month away. Always great to see your enthusiastic, smiling faces, and we will see you on May 14th for day one.
Great.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Thanks, Garrett.
Hi, my name is Lasse. Nice to meet you. I'm from Munich. I studied architecture at TUM University in Munich, also sustainable building, and worked as an architect for around 5 years. And I figured out that I want to go into startups. So I switched to an MBA with WHU, since the network is great and just it's the #1 university for startup founders. And that's also where I found Marco.
Yep. So that's my name is Marco. I've been working as a consultant for the last year with a few years of experience in e-commerce. I decided to also do an MBA. My initial idea was actually to make a corporate career and climb up the corporate ladder. But actually, what I came out with it was no, I actually want to start my own company. I just needed the right co-founder. And despite Lasse being like in another program of the MBA, we somehow crossed roads and we got together and we realized that we both actually really wanted to solve an issue. And that was today's customer experience and customer journey in buying kitchens and purchasing fitted kitchens.
So why don't you guys tell me a little bit tell me the name of the company, the problem that you're solving, and yeah, just maybe a little bit what it is the company does.
Sure. So Lasse and I came together and we founded KitchX. KitchX is a direct-to-consumer brand for kitchens. And what we basically aim to solve is we aim to solve the long delivery times that today are present in the kitchen industry. We aim to solve the enormously human labor-intensive planning process behind kitchens. So we're developing actually an algorithm that is able to plan and visualize kitchens within 10 minutes. And we also want to create a kitchen experience, brand experience, which today is not given in the market. Most people purchase their kitchens from IKEA, but that's it. And what we really want to create is a super emotional product where people live for the brand and people experience this brand. So for instance, every time we install a kitchen, it feels a little bit more like a party. Our craftsmen come with like a bottle of wine. We're drinking champagne at the end, toasting on the kitchen. So we really want to emotionalize this product as a kitchen, and eventually during the ownership phase of the kitchen actually create an ecosystem of services and products that we can offer our customers during this ownership phase.
So if I understand correctly, you guys help with the design, the selection of the components of the kitchen, the delivery, and the installation.
As of now, we're fully end-to-end. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. So, you touched on this briefly, but you guys were in different programs in the MBA at WHU. Tell me a little bit about how you came together to start KitchX and this particular business. I don't imagine you're talking a lot about kitchen installations in an MBA program. How did this come about?
So, like I mentioned, I was in a full-time MBA, Marco in the part-time. And when I finished my MBA, I knew that I want to start something new. And at the same time, I had to move and I needed a new kitchen. So I got hands-on the kitchen planning process. And I said, okay, that's super painful. We have to change it. And at the same time, there was like a entrepreneurship roundtable, which is a student organization. It was a brainstorming meeting. And Marco was in this meeting and he was like super passionate. He was super driven, super high energy. And I knew, okay, that's the right guy. I actually reached out to him on LinkedIn. He was super open to discuss the ideas. And by accident, he had a lot of knowledge about kitchens with OBI, and it was just a perfect fit. So I brought like the product side. He brought like all the commercial part from OBI and from BCG. And he also got the passion for kitchens. And then we said, okay, let's try it together. That's a great team. I think it's just like the skills really fit together. And then we said, okay, let's go. Let's do it.
And actually how we started is super fun. We got together and the first thing we did is we sat in like the WHU MBA rooms and we actually just wrote emails, a super perfect email to the 15 CEOs of the largest company manufacturers in Europe. And we said to each other, if one of these single kitchen manufacturer CEOs replies to this email, then we're going to create a pitch and we're going to build it up if there's interest behind our business model. And out of the 15 CEOs, I would still do not believe it to this day, 8 of them replied.
Wow.
And
Cool.
actually with 5 of them, we got CEO level meetings based on a cold approach email from our WHU email address, by the way. So
Well, that is a perfect segue to the next question I want to ask you. So, there's a lot of different ways to take a startup from idea to market. Why did you guys choose the accelerator approach, and why the WHU Accelerator?
So basically, we decided to go we're looking specifically for equity-free accelerators at the beginning that would give us a broad range of not only business people, but also tech people, but also experienced founders. And yes, there are a lot of programs out there, but they do, however, require equity, right? So our specific goal was really to get equity-free acceleration. And with the WHU network behind this, with the sort of people that they managed to get a hold of, we were like, we need to get on board of this. And this is the exact perfect match in terms of the acceleration program that we need.
Awesome. What I really like about you guys, and I actually didn't realize it completely until you just said it, is, you've heard me preach about founder market fit before, making sure, are these the right guys to build this business? And when I hear there's an architect, a guy that worked in e-com for Obi and consulting, and you're coming together in this way, and you've had the pain point of dealing with kitchens yourself, it sounds like a really good match. So I gotta ask, once the kitchen's installed and you guys are hanging out toasting, who's the best chef of the two?
I think that's definitely Marco.
But I'm the meat eater here. So when it comes to steaks, I think I definitely have the overhand. But when it comes to creating delicious vegetarian dishes, I would probably say Lasse is the better guy for that. So we have a little bit for everybody here.
Awesome. Guys, with that being said, where can folks that are interested about what you're doing, where can they find you online?
So of course on our website, it's www.kitchx.de. So there they can all find all the information about us and of course our kitchens and the whole process. We're also on Instagram, we're on Pinterest, so they can like our posts, follow us and stay updated, or they can even sign up for the newsletter and always see what's coming up next on our journey.
Awesome. Well, guys, I am excited to see what's coming up next on your journey. I think these next few months are going to be super exciting for you guys. I love the energy. Can't wait to see what happens in these months ahead. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Garrett.
Hey everyone, my name is Paul. I studied in my bachelor's at the ESB Business School in Reutlingen, then worked for 4 years at P&G in sales there. And thought, after the 4 years, I'd like to dive into more entrepreneurial spheres. And for that reason, came to the WHU. I'm studying there in the Master of Entrepreneurship program, graduating 2022, and found my 2 co-founders there, which I am very excited now to be participating in the WHU Accelerator this summer.
Hi everyone, I'm Niklas. I was born in Bonn and did my bachelor's degree in business administration at the University of Münster, where I already found my first startup. It was in the jewelry business, but because of Corona, we put it on hold. And now I'm at the WHU for my master in entrepreneurship, where I met Paul and Conrad, and now eager to change the e-commerce world with Bringwing.
And last but not least, I'm Conrad. I'm 26 years old, also studied in Münster, but somehow never met Niklas there. Also founded a startup on the side, so that also seems to be a connection with car relocations. Met with a lot of car rental companies during that time. It was awesome. We also were in an accelerator. Sadly, that business also didn't take off, and I then chose to work as a software engineer for 2 years. until then, I decided that having a steady job is nothing for me, and I want to seek the thrill of being an entrepreneur once more. And well, what better university can you choose than the WHU, I think? And I decided to do the Master in Entrepreneurship then, and that's where we all met.
Awesome. So guys, I would love to hear, in your words, a little bit about what it is that you're building. Tell us a little bit about your business, your purpose, and the problem that you're solving.
Sure. So we are Bringwing, and we are two things. First, we are a shipping flat rate subscription that allows our users to get free shipping at all their favorite brands and online retailers. And second, we are a one-click checkout tool that allows our users to purchase items with only one click using only one account across all participating online shops. The problem we solve is that brands lose the direct access to their customers. And this is driven by the near perfect shopping experience at large online shopping platforms, which completely locks in the shopper. And this makes brands increasingly dependent on platforms for revenue and customer access. And breaking these lock-in effects is already increasing customer acquisition costs dramatically. And we solve this problem by bringing the most convenient shopping experience to every brand and D2C store. And thereby we make it more attractive for shoppers to buy directly at the online stores of their favorite brands and not at a platform. So for shoppers, we are sort of the Amazon Prime for everything but Amazon. And for brands, we are a new high-value traffic source that drives conversion, increases customer lifetime value, reduces customer acquisition costs, and gives the shopper access back to the brands.
Awesome. So you guys are three WHU Master in Entrepreneurship students, two with business side experience, corporate, startup, and then a software engineer. How did you guys meet? How did you guys come together to start Bringwing?
Well, it all started very early in our studies, actually. The study program is very much cut out to connect the people and to meet and to talk about business ideas. And it was just a very beautiful day that I think started it all. I was driving into Fallendar and I had a little bit of time after the lecture. So I sent out a message to Paul and a couple other people if they wanted to meet, sit at the Rhine at a very beautiful spot and talk a little bit to get to know each other. And that's how I got together with Paul. And we talked a lot about like our experiences and what business ideas we had. And then a couple of days later, Paul called me up and presented this idea to me, basically, that he already pitched to get into the WHU. And I found it very interesting. I also thought it's very intriguing to get into the e-commerce sector, because that was something that was very like dear to my heart, as also with Corona, everyone is shopping online now, and Amazon is getting ever stronger in that field. And yeah, that's why Paul and I started off a little bit earlier together, and then at some point realized, hey, it would be really nice to have a designer on board, because that's something I cannot do. And Niklas showed some interest as well into the business model, and we brought him on board. And now we're a power team. I think we fit very well together, and we're looking forward to tackling this field as a team.
Awesome, guys! I love that story. I cannot imagine how many millions of euros in value were created from a couple of WHUers sitting on the Rhine with a beer talking about business ideas. I have a feeling you're not the first.
Probably have a feeling so too, yeah. The Rewe is also just right around the corner, so it's perfect. You go from university, make a stop at Rewe, get a beer, sit at the Rhine. Like recipe for
Change the world.
success.
That's awesome. Awesome. So if I understand correctly, designer, business, and FMCG, and software engineering. So you guys all kind of bring a unique angle to the business model. That's pretty rare at WHU. You know, oftentimes we see businesses where like it's three guys that are kind of doing the same thing, but you guys all come with your own skill sets and your own backgrounds. Very cool. I want to ask you, you know, there's a lot of different avenues that you can take when you're starting a new venture. why acceleration? Why the WHU Accelerator?
I mean, so first of all, an accelerator, it's an amazing ecosystem of support. You gain access to experts in many fields and also easily get diverse feedback and mentorship from different people, be it regulation-wise, marketing-wise, or strategy-wise. And also, we thought that it's amazing for improving our skill set on many different levels, but also finding out where we have still some gaps and then coming up with a future hiring strategy in the long and short term. And also, speaking of the future, it's also about de-risking for future investors. I mean, Bringwing will massively graduate over the time of the accelerator, and which also the business angel and VCs knows, which makes it easier for us to get investment. And also getting to know and in contact with some investors during the accelerator, for example, as mentors, is also very beneficial for us.
Maybe to add that there's this notion of fail fast. And I mean, we are still in the very early stages. We've been doing, quite a lot of validation interviews with brands, with potential users, etc. But we see the accelerator as a sort of, how can we say that? As a lens on our business model to really prove in the few weeks that this can actually work. And if it doesn't, what do we have to change to come up with a value proposition that resonates with our target group? And there's probably no better way to infuse that focus on what matters, and therefore, I think that's going to be one of the key takeaways for us from the accelerator.
I think it's great, guys, and I agree completely. We have 8 incredible teams, very, very different teams in the accelerator this year at different stages of their growth in completely different industries. We talk so much about product market fit. A lot of us talk about founder market fit, but when you think of the case of startup accelerator fit, a company that's working on solving an e-commerce problem in a university like WHU, where there have been so many incredible, successful founders and investors in the e-commerce space, I anticipate we will see huge transformations and incredible learnings from you guys in the months ahead. It's going to be very exciting to see Bringwing's trajectory over the next 3 months. So with that being said, guys, where can listeners learn more about what Bringwing does and find you guys online?
Probably best at our website, bringwing.com, where we have everything listed, what we currently do. Feel free to sign up for our beta test list to be one of the first who enjoys the Bringwing shipment flat rate. And otherwise, please feel free to reach out in LinkedIn in our individual pages, and happy to connect.
Awesome. Guys, today we are 30 days away from orientation. Exactly 1 month away. So look forward to seeing you all there. It's going to be a fun ride, and can't wait to see the journey ahead for you all.
Awesome. Thanks so much. We're so much looking forward
to it.
Yeah, we're very much anticipating it.
Well, folks, that was Lidrotec, Specter Automation, KitchX, and Bringwing, 4 of the startups in this year's WHU Accelerator. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll introduce the remaining 4 teams. Pre-Match, a data-driven content aggregator for non-professional football. CIMK, a data platform for investing in the Chinese market. About My Horse, a social commerce platform for equestrian-focused fashion. And Happy Burning, a functional beverage company producing a one-of-a-kind brain-boosting focus drink. The next episode will go live on May 19th. So until then, be sure to check out our website at mostawesomepodcast.com, follow our channel on YouTube, and subscribe on Spotify, Apple, or your favorite podcast streaming service. Bis nächstes Mal.